Okay, here we are. Huh. Let's see if I can find my stream. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm going to mute the volume because we're going to end up with an echo if I don't. There we go. Come on. Okay. There we go. All right. Got 4 people already. Hey, buddy, what's going on, RT? Oh, as usual, I didn't have anything planned out. So I'm working on trying to get everything set up so I can do this video. My plan tonight is to do um, fried cabbage. Um, yeah, it's pretty warm here. Yeah, we were in the 90s. Not 100 degrees, thank God, but it's cooled down a little bit. The smoke is terrible though. It's like I've had a major headache all day long. Yeah. So what I just got done doing, and I'm gonna have to wash this pot out because this is the pot I make my cabbage in too. Is I make my own iced tea. Being a diabetic, I can't have the sugar in the tea, so um, I buy the big family pack Lipton iced tea, and I just brew my own. And so I was out of tea just a minute ago, so we brewed up some. And of course, the pot that we use to brew the tea in is also the pot that we use to make fried cabbage. So, any of you guys out there watching, just kind of bear with me a little bit. I know the camera's kind of dark right at the moment. Um, I've got all the lights on that I can put on. Unfortunately, in this RV, it's not very bright. I need a pole lamp or something to kind of brighten things up. Uh, okay. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just making some iced tea. So nothing anybody needs to see. Not a not a big deal. But we'll get to doing the cabbage here in just a few minutes. I need to go get a tripod now. The new camera has got a nice picture, but it's like really hard to figure out how to set it up so I can be seen. So I guess the The next expenditure is going to be a tripod. Oh well. Before I know it, I'll have as much invested in this as Bruce does. That's it. Okay, I need to move you guys over just a little bit so I can get into the refrigerator. There we go. All right. All right. So this dish I make quite frequently for myself. I use it as a side dish instead of potatoes or rice or whatever. I get sick of it. You know, you get sick of eating the same shit. So I stumbled across this several years ago. Well, shit, I guess almost 20. Back when my wife and I were together, and we were living on a limited budget. You know, we got given a head of cabbage and didn't know what the hell to do with it. And I said, okay, well, let's fry it up with some onions and some bacon and see what happens. So that's how this recipe came about. Okay, I'm going to try plugging in this new camera. I had it in earlier. I just got to figure out where I'm going to put it so that you guys can see me. Well, we're going to show you here in just a minute. Let's see if it allows me to do this. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, I don't know how to switch. Let's see if I can switch cameras. Let's go to the HD camera. Okay, there we go. Now we're on the HD camera. All righty. Okay, that's much better. All right. So the only problem is that I got to hold this damn thing because I don't have a tripod. So, but it is a much better picture. It's a lot brighter. Okay, so here's what we're going to start off with. I buy the cheap shit bacon. Okay, the cheap John Morrell. It's like $2 and something for not quite a pound. It's just 12 ounces net weight, so not quite a pound. And let's see if I can do this. I'm going to move the closer over here to the cutting board. Let's set you up here on the cutting board. All right. So, you take the cheap chip bacon, take it out the package. Slap the cheap chip bacon on the cutting board. And then I take my nice, trusty mega sharp knife. Give her a couple of runs across the sharpener. And then we cut the bacon. See if you can see this. Okay. Okay. Bacon goes over here in this pot. And what I've got here is I've got about a 10-ounce or a 10-quart sauce pot. And what we're going to do is we're going to render this bacon down. Just going to kind of break it up a little bit. And it's going to take a little bit for that to fry down. Okay. So, in the meantime, while we're waiting for the bacon to cook, I'm going to set this camera down and get out some pans. Okay. Okay. I take a couple of onions, one about this size, actually two sometimes, and we're just going to slice those onions up. Basically cut the end off. I mean, y'all know how to slice an onion, I'm sure. Peel her back. Now, I like onions, so I put a lot of onion in mine. If you don't like onions, well, there's something wrong with you, but if you don't like onions, well, this is probably not the recipe for you, because it doesn't taste right without the onions. So, as you can see, I'm just slicing this onion fairly thin wafers. Okay. And I'm just going to put these in the bowl. Actually, I'm going to get out my handy dandy quick slicer and make quick work of this. I cheat. I use the manual. Let's see. mandolin. I've got one onion in there. I'm going to put in one more. And here again, we're just going to cut the top off. Cut the bottom off. Cut it down the side to peel it. This is all waste. Just discard this. Okay, set that there real quick. Give my bacon a little stir over here. Okay. Let you kind of take a look at the pan here. Here's the bacon rendering. That's what it's looking like. And you're going to let it go till it's crispy. You want to render as much fat out of this as you possibly can get. Because the grease is what you're going to cook your cabbage and your onions in. So, and on these mandolin slicers, once you get down to about like that, you're going to want to slice that by hand because they will take the top of the knuckle off in a heartbeat. So I'm just going to kind of try not to make this a horror movie, not get any juice, especially my juice. And it doesn't matter if the onion's a little thick. Not a big deal. Okay, so got the onion all sliced up. No tears. Bacon all scrambled up here. Okay. What do we have in the comments? Yeah, you know, B, it's a lot. Yeah, you can do it. I do Brussels sprouts that way too. Okay, so the next vegetable, I need to go get it out of the other refrigerator. Oh. Okay, and I like about a medium size to large size head of cabbage because I like a lot of cabbage. And this stuff really cooks down. So and it makes a mess cutting it up. So I'm going to warn you, you want to have plenty of counter space, which unfortunately I don't have. So I'm going to take the cabbage, and I usually do this with a meat cleaver, but I don't feel like digging it out tonight, so. Okay, so I cut it into fours. Do the bacon a stir. Is there nothing better than the smell of cooking bacon, guys? I love the smell of fresh cooked bacon. Okay. We're going to try this new fangled dangle deal here. And like I said, this stuff going. Okay. So now you got your cabbage in quarters. And I like my cabbage shaved, fairly thin. So, and I mean, once it cooks down, it doesn't really matter. It's just a preference. I have even gone into the stores and bought like the angel hair. So I'm just slicing this. I quartered it first, and now I'm just chopping it. And I use core and all. I don't usually take anything out. Because once it's cooked down, you never even know it's there anyhow. Actually, I think I am going to take the core out of this one, just simply because I'm not really a big fan of the core. So, and again, just thin sliced. Like I said, I have bought the angel hair cabbage that you buy in the grocery store for making coleslaw. Problem is that it's a lot more expensive than buying a head of cabbage and cutting it yourself. Because you're going to see, when I put this all in the pot, guys, you're going to see how, yeah, it's a full pot right now, but it doesn't take long, and it's not a full pot. Okay. That's 2 halves. So we're going to take the core out of that side. And it helps if your refrigerator doesn't freeze the damn cabbage on you. Which this head here kind of got a little frozen. Okay, so you get the idea there. Check on our bacon. Bacon's coming along really good. We're almost there with the bacon. And we got one more section to slice here. Okay. That's all the cabbage. Nice and sliced up. All right, gonna give you guys another peek at the bacon. And we're almost there. Still think we can render just a little more out of it. I want it pretty much crispy, and I want all that. See that brown on the bottom there? We want all of that because that's going to help to flavor the cabbage. Okay, so that's just about where it needs to be. Okay, so now I'm going to take this bowl and take the bacon that I've just rendered off, slotted spoon. It's the only time I use a metal utensil in these pans. Okay. This happens to be my sister-in-law's favorite dish. So, here's what I've done. I've pulled all the bacon out and I've left the grease. Okay, if you're heart conscious, this is probably not a dish for you. I don't eat it a lot. So we can cheat and get a little bit every now and then, huh? How about that? Okay. So my next step, I'm going to take my big bowl here that I've got my onions and cabbage in. I'm going to try to dig down to the bottom and get some of the onions on top. And we're just going to put that directly in for that bacon grease. All right. And I know you're saying, there's no way all that cabbage and onions is going to fit in that pan. Guys, trust me. This is going to cook down. Okay, so this is what we've got now. Okay? Trust me, all that's going to cook down. We're going to add a little at a time, put the lid on it, let it wilt, even let it brown a little bit from the bottom. It's going to be fine. All of it is going to go in that pan. Trust me. I'm going to put a lid on it and just let that simmer. See there? Put a lid on it, and we're just going to let that cook. It's going to cook down, and as it cooks down, we're going to turn it from the bottom as it's browning, and then we're going to add the rest of what's in the bowl here. There's, I don't know, probably a third or so left in the bowl. But we will slowly add that to the pan. Okay. All right. Yeah, I definitely believe I need to get a tripod. Yeah, you know, Rooster, it probably is okay with metal utensils. I just don't like to use metal utensils in any of my pots and pans, um, except my cast iron. And even then, I'm careful with it. Um, I've got pots that I've had for 40 years that still have the coating on them. And that's because I've been very careful and very particular about what I use in my pots and pans. Okay. All righty. So now it's just a matter of letting that cook down. And it takes a good, I don't know, 20 minutes or so for that cabbage and the onions and everything to cook down. And it's just having the patience to let that all cook. And also resisting the temptation of snagging a piece of bacon. Hey there, Sam. How you doing, darling? I think most everybody who I've made this dish for really likes it. And it's kind of a twist um on sauerkraut in a way. Um, and I'll show you here in just a little bit why. So I don't know if you've seen it from the beginning. Oh yeah, cabbage steaks on the grill. They are awesome. Cut, about yay thick, and brushed with olive oil and seasoned. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, they're actually really good, Rooster. They're really good. Yeah, I've taken them and cut them about that thick, and then you brush them with olive oil and season them, and then just grill. So, like I said, now is the kind of the tedious part because it's the waiting. Um, I really should just film this and then go to an editor and edit it and all that. And if I was a professional, I would. But I'm not a professional, so hopefully I don't do a Peggy Bundy. Yeah. This time of year, my barbecue grill gets a workout. As a matter of fact, I've got a New York strip that I'm going to throw on the grill here and have with this cabbage. Yeah, I even like to make homemade sauerkraut, which is really, really easy. I was surprised how easy it was to make. Um, you basically take a big quart jar and you cut your cabbage up and you stuff it in the bottom, put a layer of salt, more cabbage, layer of salt, more until you get it all the way filled up. Put the lid on that bastard and set it off somewhere in the dark for about a month. And that cabbage ferments in the salt. Make sure that the liquid is all the way to the top. Make sure the cabbage has about that much liquid on top of it, and then you just put it off in the corner and let it ferment. And it's really, really good. Okay, so I'll put my cigarette in the ashtray over here. So like I said earlier, this is going to cook down. And I'm going to work on kind of stirring it just a little because I want the brown bits. And we're getting that. Just a little at a time here. Matter of fact, let me bring the camera over here so y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so all right. As Justin would say, you stay there in the pot, man. Don't you get out of there. What I'm trying to do is I'm turning it. So I'm getting these little, see the little brown bits there? Where it's starting to brown? By the time this is done, that whole pot's going to be like that. It's going to be browned off. Okay, lid back on it. And you go, boy. Yeah, I don't like this so much. I don't know. The camera's kind of cool, but because I can get and show you guys really what's going on in the pot. And the picture's much better. But I don't know, I got to figure out how I can get it mounted or where I can mount it at so that I don't have to make y'all seasick. Okay, there I am. Oh, y'all want to see Queenie? There she is in her favorite spot. Actually, usually she's laying on the linoleum, but tonight she's mad at me because she hasn't got her yet. She hasn't got her moist and meaty yet, so she's mad at me. Yeah, it's yeah. Once it caramelizes and that brings the sugars out in the onion. Of course, I cheat a little bit, and I'll show you all my secrets here in just a minute. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to look for. Now, I'm gonna have to look for some kind of a mount. I'm liking the quality of the camera. Don't get me wrong. I think that the picture is really kind of it really brings in the light. That's what's for dinner, and it's already been seasoned and ready to go. Just need to throw it on the grill. I'm gonna set it out here and let it warm up to room temperature. Because if you're gonna do a New York strip or a steak period, it really needs to be at room temperature when you put it on the grill. Ah. Now, as you can tell, when I started, we'll get a good look at the pan right now. When I started, that pan was overflowing, and now it's down a third of the pan. That tells you how much this stuff cooks down. We just keep a stirring it because it's getting juices on the bottom, and we want that juice throughout the cabbage. Okay. Now, for the secret ingredient. If y'all can see that, this is red wine vinegar. Okay? And I'm going to put a pretty liberal amount. Unfortunately, on this process, I don't measure. I just kind of do till it looks good. Probably a third to a half of a cup, maybe, if I was to measure it. So now the red wine vinegar's in there, and that gives it a tangy flavor. Okay. Now, you're not going to want just the red wine vinegar. Okay, you got to have something to balance that with. And what I've got in here is probably about, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half of C&H pure cane dark brown sugar. Okay, and I'm going to put, there's probably a cup in here. I'm going to put probably about a half. Because you need something to offset that vinegar. Plus, also, it helps with the browning. Color makes it a little bit more appetizing. Yeah, you could use apple cider. I'd like the red wine better, though. Apple cider is just really harsh. And I'm looking for that balance of sweet and sour. So, the brown sugar's in there. And we're just going to let that cook down. And I'm going to cook that with the lid off now because I want some of that juice to evaporate. And there's quite a bit of juice in there now. Yeah, so that's going to continue to cook down. And like I said, I'm cooking it with the lid off. That the apple cider vinegar helps to deglaze some of the brown bits of bacon that were on the bottom of the pan, and that adds to the flavor. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. And like I said, I've got about, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half. No, not that much. Probably about a half a cup of brown sugar and about a third of a cup of red wine vinegar. You just kind of got to, I eyeball it. You know, when it looks right and it smells right, then it is right. Unfortunately, I grew up with my grandma and my mom as cooks, where it's, you know, they didn't measure anything. It was a pinch of this and a, you know, pinch of that, and, you know, they knew when it looked right. I often wonder if my ex-wife makes this for her new husband. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to pull out a fork. And give it a little bit of a taste. Yep, it's just about there. I would actually like it to be just a little bit sweeter. Okay. All right, now for the last stage of that, remember that bacon that you browned off earlier? Okay? Just dump it right back in the pot. And then you're going to take that bacon and you're going to stir that in. And it's going to soften up. Get out of there, boy. Okay. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a stir. Mix that bacon in real good. All right. Let's see what we got here, guys. Yep, there it is. That's perfect. Yep. That's right on the money. Sometimes you have to play around with the balance between the sugar and the vinegar. Sometimes you can put a little less. Sometimes you put a little more. It just all depends. But that's just about perfect, guys. That's my take on fried cabbage. Hope you all make it for your family. Let me know how it comes out if you decide to try it. Hope you all enjoy it. Great. That's going to do it. I'm going to go grill me a steak, and it's dinner time. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for watching. Again, go back to the beginning if you missed it. I'll leave this video up because we didn't do any music, so they shouldn't take it down. And try it out. Let me know if you like it. Send me a text message or email, or next time you see me in Bruce's chat. All right, guys, that's it for me tonight. Y'all have a nice night. Thank you for joining me.